Thank you for reminding. So you all want to try this height part of the grids, or shall I continue with the class? If anyone wants to try it out, they can try it. If not, then you all let me know. I'll continue with the class. Okay, so we shall proceed with the class. So min max equal to say 100 pixels and comma auto. Okay, that you make sure you add a value, say pixels, or it can be vh, view height, something like that. If I refresh it, so you see all of them have 100 pixels except this particular row. It's giving the height according to the content being displayed in my box over here. So suppose if you want to give this and overlap this grid, so I'll just explain it. So these are rows. This is the first, second, and third, and this is the first, second, and third column. Okay, so I'll just delete a few of these divisions, and I'll have to assign these divisions a particular class. So we'll keep it to 4. 4 should be enough. Yes. So I'll add, say, 1. And over here I'll write 4. Okay, I'll just save it. I'll refresh my browser. You see, there's no specific change. It's still the same grid layout which we had seen before. Okay, so suppose if you feel this particular column has to occupy more space, okay, it should have more than one fractional value. Okay, so what will I do? It's very simple. Over here I'll style my class 1. Okay, so if I want to style my class 1, I'll have to add a full stop and then the name of the class. Okay, 1, and then over here I'll go and I'll write over here grid space, I mean this hyphen, and over here I'll write column. Okay, and I want this particular box to occupy the space from this first column till the second column. Okay, so what will I do? 1/2. So from 1 till 2, it's going to occupy the space. If I just refresh it, just keep this to 1 and only. Okay, all should have the same space. So you see, this will occupy space. If I just add it to 3. So you see, it's occupying more than the assigned value. So we had assigned it to be one fraction, but say you want this particular class to have more than that value, and you assign it the space from one column till the third column. Okay, so it's occupying that much space. So if instead of column, I would have written over here row, and I save it. So you see, it's occupying this much space. So in order to make this easier, I'll add box 1, box 2, box 3, and box 4. So you see, my first box, it's occupying space more than one row. So it's using the space of 2 rows. So I can add this column space as well. So I can use both. So if I just write grid before I use column, so here I use columns. So 1 till 3. If I just save it, so you see it's occupying this entire space over here. All right, so if I want to make my grid box a bit more larger and I want it to occupy more space, so what will I do? I can just add over here grid rows, and then the space it should occupy. So you see these rows are like this. This is one row, this is the second, this is the third, and the column goes like this. This is my first, second, and third column. So I can keep it in a particular column as well. So if I just show you another example over here, and I want to style my child 3, that is my second child, that is the second box, okay, over here, and I want this second box having this same styling. Okay, so I can just copy it and I just paste it over here. You see it has this particular space occupied, and you see my first box has gone away. All right, so what I can do, instead of it occupying my first space of my column, so I'll keep it in my third column space. If I just save it and refresh it, you'll see my box 2, it's in the third space, it's in the third column, and it is occupying 2 rows. Okay, 1 and 2 rows over here. So if I just change this to 2, right, I save it, you see it is overlapping my box. So if I just add a border over here to this second one, okay, can anyone tell me how to add a border? Okay, I've written 2 pixels over here, I save it, I refresh it, you see I have no border over here. So can anyone tell me what do I have to add over here in my border thing? I want to add a border to my second box.
Space.
Okay,
Gap.
pardon?
Gap.
No. I want to add a border. We had learned this border thing before, like in the start. So I want to add a border. So there are 2 things which are missing over here. So 2 pixels, I've assigned the width of the border. What else is missing?
Thickness.
Yes, the thickness I've added. That is 2 pixels. Then what
Size.
else? The style. Yes. So I can add either solid, and I think so. There's something in the chat box. Yes, someone answered it correctly. So I have missed the style which I have to assign, either solid, or it can be dashed, or it can be dotted as well. So solid, and then the color of my border. Say I want to assign a green color border. Okay, green, and refresh it. So you see this box 2 is occupying this space, and if I just add a border color to my box 1, all right, and instead of green I'll use, say, red. So you see it is occupying this entire space. Right now it's being cut. Why? Because of this green color border. If I just remove this border over here, backspace, so you see this box 2 is overlapping my box 1. So you can keep this in the second column as well as in the third column as well. If I just keep my box 2 in my third column, so you see it's over here and has the same height as of my my first box. All right, so yes, 3. And say I'm styling my box 3. Okay, box 3. So 3, and then this, and over here I want my box 3 to remain in the second column. So what will I do? I write grid column, and I write 2 over here. All right, so I want it to be in the second column and not in the first one, and I want it to occupy the space from 2 to say 4. All right, I just save it. So you see it's occupying this space. It's pushed this box down. So if I just keep it to 3, all right, I save it, refresh it. So it's okay. It's 2 or 3. So you see, I should have added 4 over here. So it's pushing my box 4 below this position. So I can add rows as well over here. I wanted to occupy the row from over here we had assigned it 3. So from 3 to say no, so from 1 to say 3 again. So it's again overlapping itself. Why? Because I had assigned this 1 to 3 row space to my first box, to my box 1 and not to my box 3. So you see it's come on the top, but it's in the second column over here. So if I just change this 2 to say 1, and if I save it and refresh it, so you see it's the box 3 is completely overlapping my box 1. So make sure you assign these values carefully. So I'll use 3 and to say 5. I'll change this position as well. So you see right now it's not overlapping it anymore, and you see it's over here. It's in my second column. I can keep it in my third column as well. So what will I do? I'll just keep it from yes, third column. So it's occupying only my third column. So you can keep this one in the second column as well and save it, refresh it. So you see it's in the second column but occupying this row space from 3 to 5, right? So in grids what you can do, you can overlap these boxes. Okay, so you must have seen websites which overlap of a sort of a container and all, so you can do that as well. So I'll just 4, we are styling our fourth box. So I'll keep this grid column in the say first column only, and if I just save it, refresh it, you see there's no change, but I want it to occupy space from the second till the third. Okay, so what will I do? The row space I will assign it using this grid row, and from 2 till 4 I want it to occupy, and if I just save it, and I'll add a border over here so you can see the difference over here. Border and pixels, say pink. Okay, I'll save it, refresh it. So you see it is overlapping my this particular box. So you can overlap the grids according to your need. So what you can do, you can add content over here, you can add some more content in this particular box as well, so that shouldn't be an issue. So I hope you all have understood this grid system, how to assign the rows and the columns and the heights according to your need. So if you all have a doubt in this, so you all can just raise that doubt. Okay, I'll explain the overlapping thing again. All right, so I'll start from, okay, I'll just remove these stylings. Okay, I'll remove this, this, and yes, that's it, 3 1. Okay, okay, and if I just save this much, you see these are in a grid format. All right, so suppose if I want my this box to occupy space in columns way, so this is these are my columns and these are my rows. Okay, so this is my first column, second column, third column. Okay, and rows go like this. So this is my first row, second row, and third row. So suppose I want my box 1 to occupy space from my first column till say the third column. So what will I do? I will write over here grid column. Okay, and I'll write from 1 till say 3. If I save it, I refresh it, so it's occupying space from the first row, from the first column till the third column. All right, and say if I would have assigned the same value to my box 2, so if I just go in my box 2 and I write this grid column, and I say from 2, it should stay in the second column. All right, so I wanted to stay in the second column. So you see it's come in my second column, but if I just assign the rows, okay, row, I wanted to stay in my first row only. So right now it's coming over it. So if instead over here I would have written 1/2, I'll just remove this. Just save it. So yes, it's come in my second row again. I'll give it a row as well over here. Okay, grid row, and say from 1 it should occupy till 3. All right, so right now it's, and as I assign the same value over here as well in my second column. Okay, if I just save it, so you see my second box is overlapping my first box. So for me to prevent that, what I can do is I can give it another column. So instead of it staying in the first column, it can jump to the second column and it can occupy this space. So what it is doing, it is occupying the space from the second column till the fourth column, but I assign my box 1 to occupy the space from my first to the second. So when you assign a similar value, okay, so it will overlap that particular box. So suppose if I had assigned 3 rows to my first student, okay, I would tell him that you have to monitor these 3 rows. All right, and I assign the second monitor to monitor the middle rows, all the middle rows. So what will happen, he will be monitoring the first row as well, only the middle bench and all the middle benches in that particular class. So say that this monitor is saying that no, this boy is bad, and the second monitor is saying no, this middle bench boy was making no mischief. So what will happen, there will be a confusion in the class, the teacher won't understand. So if you assign the same value, so overlapping will happen. So if I just go ahead and I'll keep this in my say the third column only, okay, instead of it being in the second, save it. So you see now, right now it's not overlapping. But if I go in my box 3, all right, and I want this box to start from my, so here I want this box to start from my second row. I had given 3 rows to my box 1, and so from the first row till the third row, the box 1 should occupy. But if I assign this same value, okay, not exactly the same, partially same. So if I write grid column, and I want it to stay in the first column only, okay. So if I don't add this first thing, and if I just write grid rows, okay, just grid row, and then I'm assigning this, and I assign a value say from 2 to 4. If I just save it, refresh it, so you see it has moved itself from this first column, and it's not overlapping. So if I just keep this third box in my first column only, so grid column, and if I wanted to stay in the first column and not over here, you see my box 3 is occupying that same height but it's gone towards the third and the. Sorry, I got cut out of the meeting again. So I'll just share my screen. Yes. So can you see my text editor as well as my browser?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So I was explaining that if I assign my box 3 values starting point till the end point in the same value which I had assigned to my box 1, so overlapping will take place. So if I just add a border over here, okay, border, and I add like 5 pixels, right? Press it. Okay, solid red. And you see this particular box, since its starting point is within the region of my box 1, it is overlapping this particular box. So what I can do, if I want it a bit in the middle, let me try this. So I'll write this margin left. I'll say like 50 pixels. So you see it's moved itself 50 pixels away from the margin, but the width has become a bit smaller. Okay, so this is the way you overlap things in your HTML web page. So say if I would have assigned this as 4, okay, 4, and I don't want the second one to remain in the column, I want it flexible anywhere. Okay, so yes, so this is the way you can overlap things in your HTML document only using grids. If you would have used flex boxes, so you wouldn't be able to overlap your content in your HTML document. So has everyone understood it or wants a re-explanation of overlapping, or else say if you didn't understand this height assigning and all that, so you can just request me to do that again and you can just raise your doubt. If not, then we will proceed further with the class. So if anyone else has a doubt, they can just raise it right now so I can clarify it and you won't end up with confusions while coding your website. So the one who had a doubt regarding overlapping, that person has understood it or wants a re-explanation. If not, then I shall continue. Okay, so basically in overlapping, what happens, you assign the same starting point or else a starting point between these 2 points. So say if I had assigned this row from 1 to 3 and I assign my another element to occupy the space from 2 to 4, so it will overlap that space. So this was all about grids. It's just the basics of grids. There is more advanced version of knowledge which you can acquire about grids if you just go on Google and you search tutorials regarding grids. So you will find something more in detail. So if you know this much also regarding grids, so you will be able to customize your website and make the layouts a bit more attractive and a bit more better than what you will be assigning and applying values using this relative position or fixed position, for that matter sticky position. So if anyone has a doubt regarding any sort of previous lectures, they can raise that doubt as well. If not, then we'll continue and I'll cover a short portion of aligning items and aligning your text. So if anyone else has a doubt, they can just raise it at right now before I start with aligning items and aligning text in your HTML web page. Let's just refresh it. So if there's nothing, so if you have a doubt, just raise it right now. If not, then you can just send a message on personal chat as well on WhatsApp. So I should clarify that doubt. So we had learned about positions, okay, like left position, I mean right position and all that, sticky and all that. But if you want to align your text, okay, and you want this text to be in the center or else towards the left, so you can do that easily. So I just show it to you all. So if I just add paragraph tags over here, okay, okay, left, and I'll add another paragraph tag over here, Lauren. Okay, I'll copy this entire thing. And I'll add them in divisions over here, okay? So in order to reduce the confusion, okay? So I'll give this a name, class, say, middle. Okay, no, I'll keep this a left over here. X. Okay, I'll just put this inside my division. All right, so now it's inside my division. So I'll open another division, say, okay, this is a division, and I'll keep this in the right position. Okay, so this will become okay. Um, Class A, right, and I'll add my third division. Okay, okay. If I just go ahead and I save all of this code, you see it's just in the normal format how it generally looks in your HTML document. So there's no styling at the moment done. So you can use internal as well as external styling to style this web page. Okay, so I'll just reduce this. I will open my okay. And we will do external styling to this particular document. And say my first class, I want all this text towards the left of my web page. Okay, so what will I do? I will style my class, and to style a class, you just have to write dot and then the name of the class. That is left. I have named it left for simplification. Okay, so if I want my aligned text to be towards the left, which is towards the left at the moment, if you see, so I will just write text align, okay, and I'll just put left. If I save it, I refresh it, you see my text was towards the left and is still towards the left. And if I just go in my another class and okay, the name of the class, and then I write this text align towards the right. And if I refresh my browser, you see all of my text is towards the right. You see this right word, and all of this text is towards the right of my web page and not towards my left. So this is my left and this is my right. So this can just be done using this small syntax in your CSS. And if you want your content in the center, okay, you have to write the name of your class. that is center, and then open the brackets, and then you write text align, and over here you write center. I just save it, refresh it. You see my text is in the center, and over here my text is in the right, and in my first element my text is in the left section of my web page. So if I just add a background say yellow, and background say aqua, and another background say green. So you see my first content is in the left, my second one is in the right section of my web page, and the last one is in the middle of my page. So it's just moving my text towards the left, right, and the center of my web page. So if you all have a doubt regarding this, you all can just raise that doubt. So we learned how to align the text align, not align items, but the syntax is text align.
So can you please try this for a minute or two?
Pardon?
Can we just practice and try it, please?
Yes, you all can do that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. If anyone else has a doubt, they can just raise that doubt regarding text align. So basically, you just put your text towards the left, right, or the center of your web page. So left is by default. So if I just remove this, all right, this left syntax, I save it, I refresh it. You see, there's no change in my first paragraph that was left. So is everyone done practicing this much? Or they need some more time?
Just 2 more minutes, please.
Okay, okay. So I think no one has a doubt regarding aligning your text as well as the grids which was taught today. So since it's almost 10 o'clock, so shall we end this class over here? Or anyone else has a doubt, they can just raise that doubt. I'm just pausing the recording.